Hi guys! Welcome to Brunch with Lily. Today for brunch we are going to be making one of my favorite brunches. We are making omelets with cherry tomatoes and goat cheese and shallots and a little bacon. So I'm really excited about these omelets. It's one of my favorite dishes, and we're also going to be having a very traditional breakfast cocktail today. It is a little early, it's before noon, so we're going to start with some mimosas. So here we go. I have here some orange juice. This is medium pulp, not from concentrate orange juice. I like it with a little pulp. And I'm going to put the orange juice in the glasses first. And I use big glasses for my mimosas instead of tiny champagne flutes, just because you can fit more and it's less likely to spill. So I'm going to add a little bit of orange juice to each glass. Quarter cup or so. Next we have to open the Prosecco. So I'm using Prosecco instead of champagne. I just like the way it tastes more. It's just sparkling white wine. It's not much of a difference. So we're going to open this up carefully. We don't want any kitchen accidents. Now, if you're worried about this shooting everywhere, you can put a towel over the top of it so it pops into the towel. I think I'm just going to try to be really careful, and we'll see what happens. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to take a little bit of this and pour that into each glass as well. That looks reasonable to me. Okay, and we can always refill these with more orange juice and Prosecco later. So we'll leave this out so it's handy. We will bring Brandon his cocktail and then we'll get started. Okay, so first I think we do want to put a little bit of bacon in these omelets. So I'm going to slice up some bacon into little bits and cook that first. Really though, before we do anything, we should take a sip of our breakfast cocktail. Oh, it's so good. Good job, us. That was an easy one, though. Okay, so I'm only going to take out 2 slices of bacon because I don't like my omelets with too many filling ingredients. I think it kind of takes away from the omelet. So I'm going to just slice up 2 slices of bacon into really tiny pieces, lengthwise, and then we'll go the other way. And I'm going to cook that off in the pan while we get everything else ready. Make sure you cut all the way through. Okay, I've got my bacon sliced up. I'm going to heat to medium-low heat. And I'm going to put the bacon in the pan. The pan doesn't have to be hot yet because we want to render off the fat over a low temperature. So just stick it in and we'll cook that. While our bacon cooks, let's slice up the rest of the ingredients we're going to need. Okay, so first I have these little baby tomatoes. They're super cute. And these are grape tomatoes. You can use cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes, but just these cute little things. And we're going to slice them in half and put them on a paper towel to get some of the water out so that our omelets aren't watery. And again, we don't want too many omelet ingredients, so let's see where we are after these guys, and we'll reevaluate. So I'm going to slice the tomatoes right in half the long way, so the even way, and then I'm just going to put them right cut side down on a paper towel so that if they do start to let some of that water out, they're doing it right onto the paper towel. And I'll do that with all of them. Okay, so now I've got on a paper towel my cherry tomatoes, my grape tomatoes that are just going to hang out there till we're ready for them. And I have enough room over here for the bacon when it's ready. So We are really utilizing our space today. This is another nice brunch to make because we can do everything right in this one pan. We'll cook all the ingredients in there separately and then do the omelets right in there as well. So, easy. I actually think what would be nice with this is a little side salad. So while the bacon cooks, I'm gonna get out a bowl and just get a few things ready for a little side salad that we can put on the plates to eat with our omelets. So I'm gonna get out a bowl. And I've got some baby spinach and spring mix. Give that a rinse. And then take a few handfuls. It's just a side salad for the two of us, so not too much. And then I think what I want to do, since I've got this shallot out that we will be using anyway, I'm going to mix up a little bit of a shallot vinaigrette. Okay, so for the shallot vinaigrette, let's first start by slicing the shallot. And we're going to need the shallots for the omelet anyway, so just slice up that shallot, maybe in half. Peel it so that you're just left with the nice inside of the shallot. Okay, I think the bacon's almost ready to come off. Yeah, that looks good. So before we get to slicing our shallots, let's take the bacon off. And I'm going to use a slotted spoon for this. So there's a lot of grease and I don't want all of that going onto the plate. So let's just scoop it out. And bacon takes much less time to cook when it's in these little pieces. That's why I did it that way. I'm going to turn the heat off for a second and let this cool down before we wipe it down and cook the shallots, because we're not ready with the shallots yet. So let's slice up some of these shallots. I'm going to slice this the long way with the lines. And then I'm going to twist it and slice it the other way to get some little pieces. Now the shallot slices for the omelet, I want to be very fine. So this is my omelet shallot bits. That looks nice. Okay, so we'll put that aside. So we're ready to cook those. And for the vinaigrette, we want bigger pieces. And we want bigger pieces because I actually am going to take the shallots out of the vinaigrette before we serve it. So just roughly chop, I'd say that's good. Just really roughly chop up the rest of that shallot. Next, let's finish the vinaigrette. We're going to add some mustard. Now normally I would use a Dijon mustard, like a creamy mustard, but I am all out. So I'm going to use this whole grain mustard. And add like a teaspoon of that. Okay. I'm going to add some cider vinegar, maybe a tablespoon to that. No, that's mine. I gave you yours. Stop it. Gimme. Moving on. We will give that a stir with the shallots and the mustard and the cider vinegar. And then we're going to drizzle some olive oil in there. Very slowly, we want this to emulsify. So we want to pour it very slowly, as like a little drizzle, right to there, and continuously stir it so that it gets nice and emulsified. Then we're going to add some salt, and we can always add more oil later. Let's add some salt. And some pepper. Lots of pepper. Keep stirring that up. We will give that a little taste and then we'll just let it sit until we're ready to use it. Tastes really nice. Okay, next. I'm going to fully wipe down the pan that we used for the bacon. And I'm going to turn the heat back on to low, medium-ish low. And I'm going to add almost a tablespoon, maybe a whole tablespoon. Butter never hurt anyone. Of butter to the pan. And that's what we'll cook the shallots in. I'm gonna leave the butter out because we are definitely gonna need this. You wanna have a lot of butter in your omelets because you don't want it sticking to the pan, and it really helps bring out the flavor. So we're gonna need a lot of butter today. Just warning you guys. The other thing we're gonna need is some goat cheese. I love goat cheese in my omelets, especially with the cherry tomatoes and the shallots. I think it's a really nice flavor combination. And I'm gonna add a little Parmesan too, just a touch. So I'm just gonna take, let's switch this around, a bowl, and grate a little Parmesan into it. So the butter is melted. I'm gonna add the shallots. And cook those down just a little bit. Leave this little dish out because you can put them right back in here when they're ready. And again, I don't like raw shallots, so we're just going to cook them a teensy bit so that we're not biting into a big raw shallot when we eat this. I'm going to steal a little bite of bacon. No one can have bacon out like this in front of them and not eat it. I'm sorry. It's not possible. Let's give these a little, we don't want to overcook the shallots. We just want them to become fragrant. Oh, they smell so nice. They're looking really good. I might take them off soon. So let's take the shallots and put them back into this little bowl. Our delicious buttery shallots. So we are ready to go with all of our ingredients. So we've got our shallots that have been cooked in butter, our cherry or grape tomatoes, which have been sliced in half, our bacon bits, our Parmesan, and our goat cheese. And of course butter, which we'll need. So all of our toppings and things that we'll need are good. Now it is time to whisk up the eggs. Okay, so first, I'm gonna wipe this pan down again. If you have anything in the pan before you cook an omelet, it could stick. Even though there's a lot of butter in here, these little bits, we don't wanna risk it. Because if your omelet starts sticking, it is horrible. And we'll turn into a kitchen monster, freaking out because our omelet is sticking. So we don't want that. Okay, then let's get the eggs out. We're gonna do one at a time so we're measuring properly how many eggs go into each one. So Brandon is gonna get a 3-egg omelet, so we'll do his first. We're also going to refill my mimosa because for some reason Brandon ran in here and tried to steal mine. Okay. I feel that we're ready to move on now. Okay, so for our omelet, we're going to, for Brandon's, he gets 3 eggs. We're gonna crack 3 eggs into my bowl / measuring cup thing that I use. And really whisk those up. You really want them whisked super well. So really go for it here. Okay, now we're gonna turn the can on to medium heat. And from here, everything's gonna happen pretty quickly. And I'm going to slice a little bit of butter. This is a trick I read somewhere that I think works super well. And it is that you're going to sprinkle some little bits of butter into the egg as you pour it onto the pan. Helps with the sticking issue and also with the flavor. So I've got some unsalted butter. I'm chopping them into these tiny little bits. I'm gonna add those when they go into the pan. I'm also gonna add a couple of them now to grease the pan. And I'm also gonna add a little bit of olive oil as well. I like olive oil in my omelets. So add a little of that too with the butter. but you really want enough to have a nice coating on the pan. We might even need some more butter here. Let's do this, yeah. Should be like a really thick layer almost. Okay. Got my egg. I'm making quite a mess over here. And I'm gonna let the egg cook and set before I add a lot of these ingredients. And actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop in my little butter right into the mixture so that it pours out evenly when I put it in the pan. Okay, so I've got my egg mixture with my little bits of cold butter. And I'm gonna just go ahead and pour that right in to the pan. Now I want that to cook for a little bit before I add the toppings. So don't touch it just yet. I know it's tempting, but let it go. What we can do at this point is season it, because we haven't done that yet. So let's add some salt to that and some pepper. And we can always add more of this later, but let's just get this preliminary in now. And then when I see it's like setting a little bit on the edges, what I'm gonna wanna do is move it around so that new egg touches the hot pan. Very carefully. Now, let's just give it like a whirl, make sure we're not getting stuck anywhere. And then we can just do like this on all sides, get that new egg touching. It's very light and fluffy, it looks really nice. We'll let that cook for another minute and then we can do the same thing again. There we go. So it's looking really nice. I think we just need a little bit more time to get this to set, and manage the heat so that you're not burning the egg. You don't want it to be brown on the bottom when you flip it. And I think now we can start adding some of our toppings. So I'm going to probably fold this in half. So I'm going to put just a little shallot on one half of this omelet. A little bit of bacon. Yum. And then let's take some cherry tomatoes, and I might just do like a line of these. Just enough to have like a few in each bite. That looks good to me. We don't want too many tomatoes. Then we can do some Parmesan. Then lastly, this is messy, but we're gonna sprinkle some goat cheese in there. Yum. I love it. To the edges. It's not sticking, which is great. That's the hardest part. And I'm going to use this in conjunction with this spatula when I flip it. So, actually, here we go. Let's scoop this up and this underneath. Here we go. And then I'm going to fold it right in half. Okay. And then I'm going to give it like a little press. Yeah. So I'm getting some of that extra egg to the edges. See how that's coming out over there? You don't want to squeeze all the ingredients out, so careful of that, but just give it a nice little squeeze. And you'll see the cheese will start to melt almost immediately, but that's okay because our egg is pretty much set now. And we've got a pretty delicious looking omelet on our hands. So I'm going to go ahead and plate this. It's going to be very hot for a while, so we're not going to serve it right away. So I'm going to take it and I'm just going to slide it right onto the plate. Looks gorgeous. And then we never finished our salad. So let's do that. We've got our vinaigrette. I'm gonna just strain that because we don't want the chunks in there. So I'm just gonna strain the vinaigrette right in. Maybe not all of it. We don't need that much. Okay. I'm gonna just take a couple of forks and stir that all up. And now we have a nice little side salad. I'm gonna add a little bit more fresh ground pepper to that. And I'm gonna take half of this and I'm gonna put it on Brandon's plate. There we go. So we have his delicious omelet filled with bacon, cherry tomatoes, and shallots, some cheeses, including goat cheese, wonderful, and a little side salad. So this is our brunch today. I'm gonna go give this to Brandon, and I'll make my omelet next. Doesn't it look so pretty? Brunch today. Oops. Kitchen accident. I guess I'll get you a new fork. Okay guys, so we are sitting down to have brunch now. As you can see, it's a beautiful day here in New York, and I'm really excited to eat my delicious looking omelet.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me show you.
Yeah.
So here's my gorgeous plate with my omelet. I'm gonna cut a little bite. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here's my delicious omelet bite. Ooh, it's steaming. And I'm gonna try it. It's really good. Really, really good. So we're gonna finish our brunch now. Thanks so much for making brunch with us, and we will see you soon on the next Brunch with Lily. Bye guys.